Hello everyone. You'll notice today's video is a little late. That's because yesterday I was running all over Hell's Half Acres, taking the truck in, getting sorts of things. And then today was supposed to be my quiet at home baking and sewing day, and I ended up doing the same, running around all over the place. So here I am today, really late, but I'm here. Better late than never, right? So I know that I have a lot of new followers recently because of some of the events that I've been at, and because I have been out promoting myself, and people have been checking in and listening in. So I thought that I would share a bit of a slideshow with you and talk a little bit about me and what it is that I do. So let's see if I can get this to work. And of course, it's going to take me forever to get this going because, oops. So, yeah, I'm trying to get into Google Slides, and of course, I'm, hitting the wrong button here because, what can I say? All right. Seriously, I really do. I have a slideshow for you. So StreamYard is the program that I use, and it does this automatically. And so I'm trying to get it to actually come in the way it's supposed to. Now it's thinking. So among other things, I am in the process of trying to get a new computer. So, look, we have found it. Hooray. So this is about me and where to find me. So there's my author site and my Facebook, my Instagram, my Amazon page, where you can find all my books. And just a note about the Amazon page, that's not just the books that I'm that are standalones, but also books that I have a piece in, like anthologies and stuff like that. This YouTube channel that you're probably watching me on now, and of course my email address. So my fictional books are Bloodstone and Bloodwater, which are my vampire novels, and Fire and Faith, which is an anthology called the Clarion Call Anthology. I have a short story in number 5, which is about one of the characters, side characters in Bloodwater. So if you're interested in backstory, you will find it there. My nonfiction books include The Re-Enactor's Cookbook, of which you probably are aware, Longing for Wisdom, which was my first book. It's sort of a self-helpish book for people who are into Hellenic Reconstructionist religion, so people who worship the ancient Greek gods. Bearing Torches, which is an anthology for Hecate. Harnessing Fire, which is an anthology for Hephaestus. And there are some others that aren't on there. I was in Penning the Pandemic and a couple of others which haven't been added to this. Bloodstone came out September 15th, 2018, and was my first fictional novel, which I was very proud of. Bloodwater is the second one. It came out August 6, 2020, and has been fairly well received. And of course, most of you are aware of The Re-enactor's Cookbook, which came out October 30th, 2020. So this is me at Massachusetts Ren Fair, and you can see a little bit of what I'm doing, which is cooking and working hard in the hot, hot sun. In this one, you'll see I have on my wimple, my veil, and my hat, and that's because it was very sunny and very hot, and we had no shade. And one of the things that happens when you're doing medieval reenacting is you spend a lot of time in the sun, and it's very hot. This is one of our displays that we have at Massachusetts Ren Fair. It is a display of foods, books, tableware, and spices from the Middle Ages, and how we put them together to do our reenactment and that kind of thing. This was me at the New Hampshire Ren Fair in 2018. It was a very cold morning. We were all bundled up, but I was pretty happy. Everything was pretty cool. Pre-pandemic stuff. This is whitefish with honeyed rice, and this is one of the first strange dishes that I did for the Massachusetts Ren Fair, and it's almost like a rice pudding, but not quite. And then it has savory fish put over the top of it. And while I was making it, everybody was kind of giving me side eye. But once we actually put it on the table, they were soon fighting over it. It was really tasty. Here I am cooking over the fire and getting a little sassy. I knew my picture was being taken, but I didn't realize I was having it done professionally. So, yeah. Now, you'll see I wear veils in a lot of these, and you might ask yourself, why do I wear veils? And the answer is that veils are medieval air conditioning. So you take your veil off, you soak it with cool water, you put it back on your head, and as it evaporates, it draws the heat away from your head, which helps you get cool. Here we had eggs, bacon, and brown bread for our breaking our fast. Everybody enjoyed. At New Hampshire Renaissance Festival, I get a chance to cook in a very large pit, which I rather enjoy because it means I can put several dishes on at a go, and we'll often hang something over the fire for quick cooking, and then off to the side we'll pull coals over for slow cooking, and that allows us to do many different things, which I absolutely love doing. This is our coal cooking setup, which we'll often put next to the big fire pit. We'll actually pick up coals from the fire and put them into the fire pit that you see there. And you can actually see the little black pot there with what looks like two handles. That's actually a bean pot. And I believe at the time we were cooking rice in it. It works very well. And what you do is you put it over top of the coals, and you let it cook slow. And it is that's a ceramic pot as opposed to a cast iron pot, and it works very well. Some of you will recognize the picture on the right as the cover picture from my book, and indeed it is. It's a wider shot, so you can actually see the yellow beets and the onions, the apples, the radishes, and carrots that we were using. In the left-hand picture, you can get a better look at, we've got the leeks there. And the thing that looks like a potato, that's actually a golden beet. And we tend to use golden beets more than the other kinds of beets for a number of reasons, but mostly and honestly because they don't stain things as much. This was at Maine Ren Fair last year. I had the opportunity to teach over the fire, and that was a lot of fun. I had a ton of people come by and really ask great questions. And you can actually see in that left-hand picture, I have a little pot hanging over the fire, over the flames, because I wanted something fast cooking. But over at the edge there, I have my big cast iron pot, and I'm slow cooking in that, and it lets me pull the coals underneath it because it has legs. So there's two different kinds of cooking that I do. This was me the second morning. We had just emptied the water out of this fire pit, and I was trying desperately to get the fire going. And I was having issues. The photographer laid down on the ground to get a good image of me, and And then friends of mine snapped a picture of him snapping a picture of me, which was kind of fun and silly. This is one of my displays for, I think this was at Maine last year. And I had out books that I use for recipes and stuff. Plain Delight, To the King's Taste, To the Queen's Taste, a monastery cookbook, things like that. And then I have my own cookbook out there and some recipes that I was giving away. That may be the case again this year. We'll see what happens. Let's see. In November of 2021, I had the opportunity to sell my books in front of the Melamine Cup here in Jaffrey during their Christmas rollout. And there were so many people. I had a bit of a captive audience. And there was a lot of questions about why I was dressed weird and everything. But it was great because it was a chilly, chilly morning. I was quite toasty because I had on my silk dress and my brushed cotton overdress. So I was warm and toasty. And everybody got to see how well the medieval clothing works. Here's a food display from at Monadnock Oil and Vinegar. I was giving away bread tastes, which was very well received. You can see my spices, my books, and my bread. Now, not to be daunted, I also cook like this at home. It's not something that I just do at fairs. And this is me making the start of chicken stew. And I have to laugh because the fire pit that you see there is what I call the Redneck Fire Pit. The Redneck Fire Pit is made out of the metal part of an old wheelbarrow, which we removed the hardware from, drilled a few extra holes in, sanded down, and then painted with high heat, the black high heat paint that you use on barbecues. And it makes a massive fire pit, which I can cook in, I can cook over, as you see here, and I can also cook, do the coal cooking, which is really nice. It's a fantastic fire pit. It's just not very mobile, and of course it's not very period. So I keep that one for at home, and I take my nicer ones with me to events. This was my booth at the Cape Cod Pirate Festival. It was the very first time that I was just vending. I wasn't working with a historical group. I was just there to sell my books and sell myself, and I had a wonderful time. You can kind of see the rock walls on the inside of my tent, which I'm really pleased. There's a good image of one. They look very photorealistic. It's pretty cool. I love having my mortar and pestle out on the table because I can let little kids touch them, and I like history to be something touchable. This was the chicken with fruit that I did at the Cape Cod Festival. It contained cranberry and dried cranberries because I was in Cape Cod, and that's what you do in Cape Cod. But it had lovely orange carrots, leeks, onions, pears, apples, and all cooked in apple cider. It turned out delicious. It was so good. Here I am at the Vermont Festival just this last weekend. I was teaching over the fire. You'll note there's no fire pit dug into the ground. This was done in an athletic field where we were not allowed to pull apart the grass, understandably. So I used my modern fire pad, which saves the grass from getting scorched, and a modern-ish fire pit, which allowed me to do my cooking and still have a medieval look, but not hurt anything and make it still safe and usable. This was my display of spices, my books, and my veggies up at the front. The big tent that I'm inside when I'm with the Brotherhood is their kitchen tent, and it is absolutely massive and gorgeous. It is up like this during the day, and if it's windy or rainy, we can actually put the sides down, and it turns into a wedge tent at night to keep everything safe and secure. It has stayed up under pretty much all conditions. And there I am, looking all happy and excited. So that's a little bit about me. I started this by writing every November for a month during NaNoWriMo, and I've ended with writing a lot more of the time and doing a lot of presentations and going out and pressing flesh and talking to people. And I love doing it. I really do. So I hope that some of you will see me in my upcoming events. Excuse me. I will be... my next event, I will be at Great Northeastern War for any of you who are planning on being at that. That's an SCA event, so not a presentation one. And that will be kind of a holiday for me. Of course, if you're there, you know where I camp. Come on by. You will have food. There's always food. But the next event that I'll be at is the Maine Renaissance Fair. It's 2 weekends, the last 2 weekends of July. And I hope I see all of you out there. It would be wonderful. It's a fantastic fair. It is well worth attending. And it's huge. It's like, I don't know, 1.5 times the size of New Hampshire Ren. It's just massive. And it's a wonderful layout. And the people are amazing. And it's so wonderful. So I hope you'll come out and see us. And I hope I see you. Don't be afraid to say hi. And, if you find out you're going to be at an event I'm at and you have a book and you want it signed, please bring it along. I am always happy to sign and to answer questions. Just drop me an email. Anyway, you guys have yourself a great week, and I will talk to you next Wednesday with luck. And don't forget to like and subscribe wherever that is down there.